Have you ever wondered what's going on in our minds when 85% of us frequently face feelings of self-doubt and self-criticism? This isn't just a statistic. It's a reminder to pause and look deeply within ourselves. Today, we're diving into a challenging yet transformative topic: overcoming negative thinking. This isn't merely about silencing that inner critic, but about empowering ourselves to live more fully. Stoic philosophy offers us a profound insight. Our thoughts aren't just fleeting whispers. They are powerful voices that shape our happiness and our suffering. This philosophy reminds us that while the world may not conform to our desires, how we perceive it is entirely within our control. Stoic thinkers weren't just contemplators, but mental warriors who learned to navigate the chaos of thought through reason and inner peace. Today, I'll guide you in recognizing and overcoming negative thought patterns, sharing Stoic practices that unlock the mind's true power. Together, we'll learn to build a life unbound by negativity and uplifted by virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. Don't worry if you feel a bit skeptical. This might challenge long-held beliefs, but it can also open new doors for personal growth. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It means a lot to us. Thank you for your support. Let's dive in. 1. The nature of negative thinking. Are you dropping your own anchor? Have you ever felt like you're rowing with all your might, sweat pouring, muscles straining, yet your boat remains stuck in place? What's happening here? The anchor is still down. Negative thinking is like that invisible anchor. It silently holds us back no matter how hard we try in life. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. As Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not our circumstances that bring suffering, but our interpretation of those circumstances." In modern psychology, this phenomenon is known as cognitive distortion, those grey-tinted lenses through which we see the world. Take a simple example. You just delivered a presentation. For 30 minutes, you presented smoothly, but there were 30 seconds where you stumbled. Guess what's likely to haunt your mind for the rest of the day? Yes, those 30 seconds. This is a form of mental filtering, focusing only on the negative aspects while disregarding all the positive. Or when you're about to go into an important interview, your mind starts to paint a host of disastrous scenarios. I'll stammer. I'll say the wrong thing. They'll think I'm foolish, and I'll never land a good job. Psychologists call this catastrophizing, another common form of negative thinking. But here's the good news. Our brains are capable of change. Scientists refer to this as neuroplasticity. It's like walking through a forest. Each time we have a negative thought, it's as if we're creating a path. The more we walk it, the more defined the path becomes. But we can also carve new, more positive paths. So, where to begin? Start by identifying your anchor. Whenever a negative thought arises, pause and ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have for this thought? If a friend were in this situation, what would I say to them? Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once remarked that while we can't control all events, we can control how we respond to them. Like that rower, the first step isn't to row harder, but to recognize and lift the anchor, to identify and change the negative thoughts holding us back. Remember, freedom isn't the absence of negative thoughts. Freedom is the ability to recognize them, question them, and choose a more balanced perspective. As Epictetus said, freedom is the right to live as we wish. And the path to freedom begins by identifying the anchors that hold our minds down. 2. The roots of negative thinking. How echoes from the past are shaping your present. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle wisely noted about the power of habits. This is equally true for our negative thoughts. They don't arise randomly but are formed over time, like small streams converging into a large river. Imagine a child who, from a young age, repeatedly hears phrases like, "You're not smart enough," "Others are better than you," or "You can't do it." These words, day by day, drop by drop, seep into the mind and gradually form core beliefs about oneself. By adulthood, whenever they face a challenge, the first voice echoing in their mind becomes, "I'm not capable." Negative thinking doesn't only come from family environments, it's also reinforced by the increasing pressures of society. In the age of social media, we are constantly reminded of perfect standards: having a successful career, looking attractive, living luxuriously, and maintaining romantic relationships. When we don't meet these standards, we easily fall into a cycle of self-criticism and self-doubt. Developmental psychology studies show that our brains are programmed by early experiences. Just like a computer, if it's initially installed with negative software, it will automatically run negative programs whenever it encounters a similar situation. This is why even a successful person can feel undeserving, because the old software is still running in the mind. But this is not a story of despair. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." Understanding this, we can begin to reprogram our minds. Just as a programmer rewrites code, we can gradually change the negative code that has been embedded over time. The first tool for change is awareness. Each time a negative thought appears, ask yourself, is this my own voice? Or is it an echo from the past, from social pressures, from unrealistic expectations? Identifying the source helps us distance ourselves from these thoughts, allowing us to see them more objectively. As the Stoic philosophers taught, we cannot change the past or fully control our surroundings, but we can change how we respond to them. Each moment in the present is an opportunity to rewrite the code of our minds and to create new, more positive thought habits. Remember, having negative thoughts is not a sign of weakness. It's a natural outcome of many complex factors in life. What matters is not to blame ourselves or our circumstances, but to understand the roots so we can begin to change. Because, as Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do, and this includes the way we think. 3. Renewing your mind. 4 simple steps to master your thoughts. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This teaching from Marcus Aurelius is the key to beginning our journey of renewing the mind. But how do we put this philosophy into practical action? Today, we'll explore a systematic approach to taking control of our minds. The first step is recognizing negative thoughts. Like a skilled detective, you need to learn to observe your thought patterns. When do these negative thoughts arise? What form do they take? What are they telling you? Write them down without judgment. Just observe. This is the moment you begin to reclaim control. Next, become an archaeologist, digging into the origins of these thoughts. When you think, "I'm not good enough," ask yourself, where did this belief start? Who planted it in your mind? It might be a teacher's criticism from childhood, family pressures, or unrealistic standards imposed by society. The third step is to challenge the validity of these thoughts. Become your own defense attorney. If a negative thought says, "I will fail," ask, where's the evidence? Am I predicting the future? How often have my negative predictions actually come true? Often the answer is surprising. Our fears rarely have a solid foundation in reality. Finally, and most importantly, replace negative thoughts with more constructive ones. But remember, this isn't about denying reality or forcing yourself into fake optimism. Instead, seek a more balanced perspective. Rather than "I will fail," try, "This is an opportunity to learn and grow." Instead of "I'm not good enough," think, "I'm a work in progress." Marcus Aurelius also said, "The mind becomes what it consistently thinks about." This isn't just about changing thoughts, it's about training the brain, creating new neural pathways. Like exercising a muscle, it may feel difficult and unnatural at first, but with time and patience it becomes second nature. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate negative thoughts altogether. That's unrealistic and unnecessary. The goal is to build a new relationship with your thoughts, one based on understanding, compassion, and inner strength. As Marcus Aurelius taught, true strength lies in our ability to control our responses, not our circumstances. As you begin to practice these steps, you'll gradually discover an important truth. The mind is not an enemy to be conquered, but a friend to be guided and trained. And with each negative thought transformed, you're not just changing how you think, you're changing your life. 4. Building a positive environment. What shadows are cast in your cave? Associate with people who are likely to improve you, said Seneca, capturing the power of environment. To understand more deeply how our surroundings influence our thinking, let's explore an ancient story from Plato, the allegory of the cave. Imagine a group of people who have lived their entire lives in a dark cave, chained to face the wall, with their backs to the cave's entrance. Behind them is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoners is a walkway where people pass by carrying various objects. All the prisoners can see are the shadows of these objects cast on the wall. For them, these shadows are reality. It's only when one prisoner is freed and steps outside that they realize everything they believed to be true was just an illusion. How does this story relate to us? Each day we also live in a cave of our own making. Negative social media posts, complaint-filled conversations, cluttered living spaces. All these are shadows that shape our perception of reality. But here's the good news. We have the power to choose our cave. Start by choosing your friends. Have you noticed that when you spend time with people who constantly complain, you begin to see problems everywhere? Conversely, when you're with positive people, you start to see opportunities in challenges. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So why not choose friends who can color your soul with positivity? Next is your living space. Psychologists have shown that our physical environment directly affects our mental state. A tidy room creates a clear mind. Natural light boosts serotonin, the happiness hormone. An organized workspace increases productivity and reduces stress. This isn't just about cleaning up, it's about designing a space that nurtures positive thinking. What about the digital world? Think of your social media feed as mental nourishment. What do you want to feed your mind? Inspirational videos or negative drama? Articles on personal growth or pointless arguments? Remember, in the digital age, we have the power to act as curators of our own content. Another key element is time spent in nature. Research shows that just 20 minutes in green spaces can significantly reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. Stoic philosophers often emphasized living in harmony with nature. In today's digital world, this has become more important than ever. Look around your cave and ask yourself, what shadows are shaping my reality? Which elements in my environment are holding me back, and which are pushing me forward? You don't need to change everything at once. Start small, maybe by tidying up your desk, unfollowing a few negative accounts, or spending 15 minutes a day in a nearby park. As Seneca said, we are not only what we think, we are also products of the environments we choose. And in the journey to control negative thinking, building a positive environment is the essential foundation for meaningful change. 5. Acting on Stoic philosophy. From philosophy to practice, small steps each day. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus captured the powerful link between thought and action. But as you may know, understanding without action is like owning a beautiful car and never driving it. Today, let's talk about how to turn Stoic philosophy into practical action. Many think Stoicism is about lofty ideas, but it's actually a very practical philosophy of action. Marcus Aurelius didn't just write about virtue, he lived it, even while governing the Roman Empire. So what can we do in our modern age? First, set daily goals that reflect your values. These aren't grand goals like, I will change the world, but small, specific actions. Instead of saying, I want to be more positive, write, this morning, I'll spend 10 minutes listing 3 things I'm grateful for. Instead of, I need to be less negative, commit to, whenever I have a negative thought, I'll pause and take 3 deep breaths. The practice of journaling, or as the Romans called it, journaling, is not a luxury hobby, but a powerful tool for self-growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Meditations not for publication, but for self-reflection and personal development." Each evening, spend 10 minutes writing, how did I handle negative thoughts today? What did I learn? What could I do differently tomorrow? Meditation is also a powerful tool that Stoic philosophers practiced in a different form. They called it contemplation. Today we can start with just 5 minutes of sitting still, observing our breath and thoughts. No judgment, no assessment, just observation. Gradually, you'll find yourself better able to recognize and manage your thoughts. A key point in Stoic philosophy is engaging with the community. Seneca once said that it's impossible to live well if you live only for yourself. Find ways to contribute, volunteer, share knowledge, or simply help a friend in need. When we focus on helping others, negative thoughts about ourselves naturally diminish. But there's one important thing to remember. Don't expect perfection. Stoic philosophers weren't perfect. They were people who continuously tried. There will be days when you struggle to control negative thoughts, and that's completely normal. What matters is that you keep taking action and keep practicing. Remember, every small action counts. Every time you choose a positive reaction over a negative one, every time you journal instead of sinking into negative thoughts, every time you meditate instead of scrolling aimlessly on social media, it's a step forward in your journey of self-change. As Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. So don't wait until you're entirely free from negative thoughts to start living. Begin today with one small action. It's these small daily actions, not grand resolutions, that create real change. 6. The power of words. The words you choose today will shape your reality tomorrow. First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Epictetus understood well that words are not merely tools for communication, they shape our reality. When I say shape reality, does it sound exaggerated? Not at all. Modern neuroscience has proven that every word we say not only reflects, but also creates new neural pathways in our brain. Aristotle, a master of persuasive language, outlined 3 elements that give words their power. Interestingly, these 3 elements apply not only to communication with others, but are also incredibly effective in self-talk. The first is ethos, credibility. What does this mean in inner dialogue? It's the alignment between your words and actions. When you say, I can do this, but simultaneously think, I probably can't, you undermine your own credibility. Start with small promises to yourself and keep them. Gradually, your inner voice will gain strength and authority. Next is pathos, emotion. Notice the difference between saying, I have to do this, and I choose to do this. One creates a feeling of burden, the other, a sense of freedom and empowerment. Instead of saying, stop worrying, try, I'm choosing to face this calmly. Instead of, I'm not good enough, say, I'm in the process of learning and growing. Finally, there's logos, the power of reason and practical thinking. In self-talk, this means using grounded language rather than assumptions or emotional reasoning. Instead of absolute terms like never or always, use more realistic language. "I'll fail" is an unfounded prediction. How can you know the future? "This is a challenge, and I'm working on finding a solution" is a more realistic and constructive way of looking at things. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his journal, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." This shows the power of choosing our interpretation. When someone criticizes you, instead of thinking, "They're attacking me," try, "This is a chance for me to reflect and improve." The same event, viewed with different words, creates different realities. Practicing positive affirmations isn't about deceiving yourself. It's about choosing words that reflect your virtues and values. "I am becoming the best version of myself." Every challenge is a chance to learn. "I choose to respond with calm and wisdom." These statements aren't just words, they are guiding principles for action. But there's one important point. Words must be paired with awareness. As Epictetus taught, first understand the meaning of what you say. Don't repeat positive affirmations mechanically. Truly feel, understand, and live by the words you speak. Start today. Each time a negative thought arises, pause. Notice the words you're using, and gently shift them, not with grandiose language, but with honest, constructive, and empowering words. As the Stoic philosophers taught, your words don't just describe the world, they create your world. We have taken a long journey in learning to control negative thoughts through the lens of Stoic philosophy. This is not simply a lesson in philosophy, it is a transformative path, a road toward true mental freedom. Marcus Aurelius taught, "Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced." Similarly, controlling negative thoughts is not a problem to be fixed. It is a journey of personal growth and self-development. This journey requires consistent practice. Every day we encounter hundreds of opportunities to train ourselves. Each challenge is a chance to develop patience, each difficulty an opportunity to build resilience, and each negative thought an opportunity to practice mindfulness. Remember, the goal is not perfection. Even the greatest Stoic philosophers had difficult days. The goal is progress, to become just a bit better each day. Instead of trying to control everything to fit our desires, learn to accept reality and adapt to it. As Epictetus taught, when we stop struggling against things we cannot change and focus our energy on what we can change, we find true peace. Each moment in life is not a battle against negative thoughts. It is an opportunity to live a meaningful and worthwhile life. This journey has no end, and that is the beauty of it. Each day brings a new chance to practice, to learn, and to grow. And with each step, we are not only managing negative thoughts, we are building a life that is better, more meaningful, and worth living. It's a pathway to becoming your best self, a person who is confident, calm, and radiates positive energy. When you genuinely love and accept yourself, others will be drawn to you naturally. So don't see love as a race to win someone over. View it instead as a fulfilling journey of self-development. Each day, practice the principles of Stoicism, from cultivating inner peace, gratitude, and appreciation of differences. And you'll find yourself not only more attractive, but most importantly, happy and content within yourself. Remember, Stoicism is not a tool to control others. It's a path to true freedom and happiness. When you become the best version of yourself, the right person will be naturally attracted to the energy and confidence you bring. Thank you for joining Philosophic Stoic today. If you found value in this video, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, or simply type, "Keep it up," in the comments. Your support helps us create more content that you'll love. We appreciate having you as part of our community. Until next time, stay wise and serene. Have a great day.